All right, hello and welcome. It is me again, Peach T Iro here with that's another chill out live stream. All right, so right now we're waiting on AOC to hop on the live stream so we can talk about what's going on. All right, so you don't have to only look at my beautiful face. I am going to, until we hop on, pull up our wonderful Wall Street bet forum. Give me 1 second while it does its thing. Come on, system. I'm getting the dreaded circle. I might have to exit out everything and go back in. We'll be back, folks. Give me a second. Had some technical difficulties. All right. And we're back up and running. We go ahead and pull everything back up. And we'll get started. All right. Alrighty then. How's everybody doing this evening? Me, I'm fine. Head is still spinning from all of the craziness going on. To recap, while we've been gone this last 90 minutes, nothing really has happened so far. Everything is booming in after hours, though. Like, booming. Oh. All right, we are here. All right, so I think we're going to skip Kevin and go straight to AOC. All right. All right, we're on AOC's tab. we're just waiting for everything to start. As you see, her chat is booming. Okay. I wish my chat was like this, but it is what it is. One of these days. Wow. She has 130, almost 140,000 people watching her. And just going ham in the stocks. I mean, in the comments. All right. You just waiting for her to get on. I think you get like 3-4 minutes. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for. All right. And right now we're just waiting. AOC, we agree on a lot of things. Sometimes she gets on my nerves, but overall, she's a really, really good congressperson. Like she's in it for the people. And like they're right, Dogecoin is going through the moon, and I love it. And I love it so much, and I love it so much, and I love my Dogecoin so much. Hmm. All right. We got 2 people with us. How y'all doing today? Drop your name in the comments. All right. So, for the new people here, we're waiting on AOC to pop through, and I didn't even know she had a Twitch, but here he is, and we're gonna see what she's gonna be talking about today. All right. So apparently, she's supposed to be with the gentleman. I'm going to butcher his whole last name, but what was his name? Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher his name. It's like he is like from the West Indies. And I'm sorry, he's like from India, and I am horrible with name pronunciation. I think it's like Chadwick Asimar or something crazy. But that's what we got going on right here. Ah, for those of you who've ever had dreads, sweet Christmas. When you start now, they get really, really itchy. All right, like what, 2-3 minutes from starting. I think you usually start at 8:30, so it should be. Yep, you are completely correct. It is about time. There was an article, well, in the Wall Street Bets subreddit. It forwarded me to a video from one of the CEOs of Interactive Brokers, one of the people behind a lot of these stock exchanges. And apparently, from the horse's mouth, they really stopped all of the trading on GameStop, AME, and everything else because the hedge funds were going to go bankrupt, which means the brokerages and everybody behind the brokerages were going to have to basically cough up the money for the people on our side of the equation. And to be completely honest, they probably didn't have it because I think like outstanding was like somewhere to the tune of like 40 billion, which means of all the stuff we were doing between AMC, GameStop, etc., the brokerages slash the hedge funds were going to have to start coughing up 40 billion. And while I'm here for it, like, don't be mad. I'm mad. but it is what it is at this point. That hopefully AOC, because right now Ted Cruz and a bunch of Republicans are agreeing with us right now that this shouldn't have happened, and that something needs to be done about it. Because again, Wall Street gets bailed out, and we just get shit on when we're trying to do the same thing Wall Street is. We're just trying to make money trading stocks and bonds and taking advantage of greedy people. They were greedy. They over leveraged GameStop up to 140% when you're only supposed to be able to leverage a stock 100%. So at very, very, very best, that is amoral because that's exactly what happened when the stock market, the housing market bubble in '08 happened. That's exactly how it happened. Mm-hmm. You were, and that's exactly how it happened. So at the very, very best, they were being amoral and trying to get away with it. At the very, very worst, they were intentionally trying to manipulate the market to kill GameStop and make a buck. Yes, we are definitely here. Time to redistribute all that wealth because this is going to be our time. Because if you look at the Wall Street subreddit, a lot of people were giving money was giving money to charities. There's one dude who did it to St. Jude's. I know dumb money. If you want to, they're really really good like alternative stockbroking people. They put like 25 grand and made like 50, 60, and then donated the whole thing to charity. None of that would have happened if the money would have stayed locked up in a bubble with these hedge funds. So we're actually doing more for the economy and the average American than they are. So of course we need to redistribute this wealth. AOC is taking a long time. The alt right is going to do what the alt right is going to do. Like the alt right is usually, in my opinion, the alt right is usually a lot of hedge fund managers, people who are completely okay with getting over on anybody else. So I'm not surprised. It's what I expected. And to be honest, we should hold their feet to the fire as well. If you're going to call us hackers and everything else, prove it. Make them prove their argument, not just yell into the void. And when they can't, because again, are playing by the rules they made up, just laugh in their face and keep on trucking. Like I am waiting on the pre-market open up.
All right.
We have an AOC.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Let me see. Is this going on? Okay. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Good to see you. Can you hear me? Can you see me? My OBS looks fuzzy, so I don't know if I look fuzzy to you all. Let's see. I'm gonna pop on my channel, see if things are looking okay. I think it looks kind of fuzzy. Let me see if I can fix
Yes,
that.
the one that aren't slack jawed
Anyways, thank
hillbillies.
you guys for hopping on. Let me see if I can
And to be
fix this
honest,
fuzzy
most of the ones
situation here.
I see aren't slack
Right?
jawed
It's
hillbillies.
blurry, right? Look at that.
They're well-to-do
This is
business
what the
owners
world looks like to me when I'm not wearing my
who think they're
glasses.
entitled to everything because I'm a business
Oh,
owner.
is it
I give
like
I make jobs.
oh, it's like set to focus way up here. Hmm. How do I fix that? Thank you all. Thank you for dealing for your patience as you deal with my weird issues here. Huh. How do I fix this? Fuzzy camera. Hmm, hmm, hmm. It's not fuzzy on Zoom. I was actually just on a community board call on Zoom.
Ooh.
Let's see. How weird. I was just on a community board call on Zoom. Um and it was totally fine. So I think it's literally the OBS. So I'm gonna have to like, this is an ASMR channel now, guys. I'm gonna have to like do it all the way up here. um, okay. Dang. Okay. This camera's fuzzy. What do I do about this right now? It's like really gonna drive
Wow,
me
they
crazy
are
unless I fix it. But I don't know,
an
you know,
alt-right group.
it's fine on every single app
Yeah, we gonna have to handle that.
that I use. It's fine on
We're
every
really gonna have to
single
get
other app,
ahead of the narrative
but
so they
this.
don't just lock us out the market because they think
Oh,
we're
someone said it's focused on
fucking
the
around.
mic. The camera's focused on the mic. Is that true? Is that? Hold on. Is it fine? Okay. I don't know. Um, I'm getting some texts from friends, some saying that I look fine to them. Someone said it might be focused on the mic. If it's okay, people are saying it's okay,
Hmm.
then I'm gonna keep it pushing. Um, seems like it's fine. So I'm just gonna that it's if it's fine to you all, then it's fine to me. Anyways, so thank you all for joining so much in our call. Let me see. Wait, is it still focused on this mic? Hold on. It is driving me a little nuts on OBS. I'll say that. Is this still not okay? Can you guys see this or no? See, like, look at that. It's really, it focuses really well up here, but it's not focusing out here. What? It's a webcam. It's like that same webcam that everyone else uses. Okay. Yeah, everyone's saying it's kind of weird, right? Sorry, guys. How do I adjust this? Why is this not working? It works on camera, it works on Zoom, it works on everything else. Anyways, so I'm sorry. I think this is gonna be like a fuzzy. Is this gonna be like a fuzzy video the whole time? No. Um, but I don't know. Some people are saying that it's okay. I don't know. Hmm. Okay. Anyways, people are saying that it's not fuzzy. I think it's just fuzzy on my camera for whatever reason. Um, anyways, really thrilled to be doing this Twitch with you all. Obviously, a lot's going on, right? We got a couple things going on, and a lot has been going on with a lot of different collisions online and on the stock market. Uh, GameStop, AMC, Robinhood, Reddit, politics, all of it is just been kind of colliding this week in a pretty remarkable unfolding of events and what we're seeing um, on the stock market. And I think that, oh, someone's properties of camera stores. Shoot, guys. I don't even know. I'm getting like I'm getting sorry, I'm getting some instructions here, but the instructions don't match with any of my settings. Um, hold on, guys. I may have to. I will be right back. They're going to try to fix this. I will be right back. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Someone says it's an autofocus issue. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are so phenomenal, sending me screenshots of what options to deal with. Okay. OBS. Properties. Is it Logi Capture?
Ooh, that is bright. That is real bright, AOC.
Video. I'm working on it, guys. Real time. Is this working? Oh, wait, no.
Oh, and we're back to watching.
Thank you guys for dealing with for your patience in this.
At least I know I'm not the only
as I do
one
this in person.
that be having technical difficulties.
Okay. All right. I think we're getting somewhere. Thank you all. Okay. Are we all set up? Yeah, we did it. Wow, guys. Okay, shout out to at the Gun Run on Twitter for showing me how to do this correctly. We would not have a functioning live stream if you did not just actually text me a screenshot of what to click on. So, way better. Thank you so much. Let's get to it. Hooray. I'm so stoked we fixed the camera issue. Only took a few minutes. Anyways, so I'm really excited to be doing this with you all. Really appreciate it. Let's start back to the top. As I was saying, it's been a pretty major week, hasn't it? We basically saw a huge amount of developments and kind of a weird collision of all different social forces, factors, economic factors, inequality, kind of spontaneous digital community action.
He most definitely goes to do bad
pairing that with what's happening in the stock market, colliding with the present fact, and increasingly the stock market is to everyday people feeling kind of less and less tethered to everyday life. And now just kind of everyday people starting to rush into these mass collective actions. So what does this mean? What is happening? Is there something deeper going on that you should know about? And what does this mean for our future? Both economically, both in terms of the stock market, but also in terms of digital organizing, in terms of internet communities, etc. And so I'm really excited. We've got a pretty good lineup stacked up and of experts, people on the left, people who run major Twitch streams, and so I'm really stoked to be having a collective of different thoughts and everything that's coming on to talk about this. And so I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited to kind of chat with you all about what's going on, and also for folks who have no idea what is happening, or just know something crazy is happening with GameStop and everyday people and the stock market and hedge funds, and what does this even mean? I'm happy to say that we're bringing on some wonderful experts, and
Oh, is that me or her? Give me one. All right, so that's her. All right, we're doing F in the chat currently right now. Let's see if we can. Let's see if she can get back up. All right, while we're waiting on AOC to do her thing, we're just going to switch over to our most hated and but prettiest graphic interface for stocks, aka Robinhood. Until I can find one that's better, at least visually for the stream, I'm gonna have to just keep using this one, even though I hate it. All right, so right now a big one is Dogecoin. As you saw from the chat, Dogecoin is going through the roof. Like just as of today, Dogecoin has went up 181% off the rip, and that is amazing. Like for y'all who got in hell this morning doing the first spike at 10 a.m. when everybody was mad at the stock market, congrats. Uh, that's Dogecoin is like it was originally meant to be a meme, a joke, and so it was never really meant to do this. But as people get into the novelty of it, get into everything else about it, it has really picked up and become like a cultural icon. And that's why we are up 182%. I lied today in Dogecoin. Robinhood currently has me messed up in transferring funds, adding funds. That's when my equity is down. But like I'm up probably somewhere around the ballpark range of 130%. All right, let's see if Miss AOC is back up. Maybe, maybe. All right. All right, we're back.
Explode on a scale and a
There we go.
level that we hadn't seen in a long time. And in fact, this rhetoric around the 99% and the 1% in our economy that get all of the gains, that rhetoric actually comes directly from the Occupy Wall Street protests. And when I was just getting out of college, fun fact, I actually worked right off of Wall Street, not as a banker or anything like that, but I worked for a nonprofit, an educational nonprofit. And there was one of the alumni in the nonprofit that had donated, some office space. And so for a few months at that time, I was actually working in that neighborhood and I would pass by Zuccotti Park and I would look at all of the and kind of engage with all of these organizers there at the time. And it was pretty wild. And so a lot of people, if you actually kind of look at the long tail of it, that language and really that class consciousness that was brought about by Occupy, I think really set the stage, particularly for millennials who are graduating college around that time, into just an economy that sucked in an unjust recovery. And while, people worked and tried in Washington to have some kind of just recovery, I mean, this is around the time that my family, we almost lost our house. Um, and, uh, and so, Occupy really brought this consciousness. And to me, when Bernie was running in 2016, just 4 years after Occupy, it really didn't, his campaign didn't come out of nowhere, right? Um, I think it really built not just on his decades of experience and decades of organizers, but it also built on the freshness of Occupy and the clarity with which the protests brought to the national conversation. Anyways, so that's Alexis. I'm gonna hop in and let's go talk to her now. All right, let's see. Are we here? Am I in it? Um, all right, Alexis, are you there?
Oh,
Uh-oh. Perhaps my audio is not porting in. Hold on. Okay, let's see. 1 second. Thank you all. Let's see. Um, okay, I can hear you now. Let's see. Can you folks at home hear me? Let me see. I'm wondering if the folks in chat can hear me. I can hear you, Alexis. Alexis, can Okay, great. Awesome. Can the folks at home hear us? Hmm. Oh, they say that they can't.
All right, so the chat said to reload again.
Can you all hear Alexis? Alexis, can you do like a count to 10?
Nope.
Okay. People cannot. I don't know. Some random people are saying. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find you. Thank you all for your patience. um, let's see. Hmm. Hmm. All right, let me see. I think um I'm trying to see if I can add her. Let's see. Huh. Sorry about this. Oh boy. Um I don't know. Let's see. Um let's see if Leo's out here. Leo, if you are out here, if you can tell me how to connect the Discord chat. Oh goodness me. Oh goodness me. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for you all at home, Alexis is on here. It says that her thing isn't there. It says it's an audio situation in OBS, but it says you guys can hear quietly. But I'm wondering if that's just picking up on my headphones. Let me see. Um, hmm. I don't. I shoot. Okay. Settings. Okay, can you all hear me? Can you all hear it now? Oh, can you try off can you try again, Alexis? Can you all hear that? Can you all at home hear that? Hmm. Hmm. All right, well, I changed the output volume to make it as high as possible. And then the audio input is everything that they're telling me that it should be. Oh no, sorry for you guys. Yeah, I don't All right, Alexis, we're going to pause you real quick until to fix this. 1 second. All right, sorry everyone. I don't know what the deal is. Everything was working before. As you guys know, we've played Among Us and the chat's been fine. But it's just not working. Sorry, guys. No, literally everything had been working before we set this up, and in true form, it's not working. We've done Discord before. We've done all this stuff before. It's just not turning out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Everything was working. It's not working now. So we're just gonna kind of do let's review what happened this week. So, for those of you who don't know and aren't aware, there was all of this volatility around great GameStop stock this week, and a lot of people may not be sure about what was actually going on, and it has a lot to do with a couple of key concepts known as shorting stocks on Wall Street. For those of you who don't know what hedge funds are, for those of you who may not have been on Reddit before, it's your first time, going on it or checking it out this week. Bless you if that's you. You are incredibly blessed to not be exposed to some aspect and also just be like crazy on the internet. But for those of us who are crazy on the internet, really understand how these community actions have really organized to create and manifest essentially on the stock market. I'm trying to see if, sorry guys, I'm trying to see again if they've been able to fix this issue. Um, okay, my desktop, 1 second, y'all.
All right, so she's having technical difficulties. What she's trying to do is basically do an interview with someone. All right, let's check the chat. All right, we're going to refresh again and see if that helps. Like, it doesn't make me feel like, again, it makes me feel nice that, someone who has a whole production team is having technical difficulties right now. So, yeah, it's okay. We're going to give her a little bit, but in the meantime, we're going to go see what my stock baby mama, Kathy Woods from ARK Invest.
Let's see if this is working.
Never mind. AOC's back.
If this doesn't work, then I don't know what we're doing. Okay. Hello, Alexis, can you hear me now? Can you all hear me in the chat? Can you all hear her in the chat? Alexis, can we count down from 10? Okay. Hold on. No. Let's see. No, that's still not working. Okay. 1 second. We're going to try to sort this out. I'm not sure why this isn't working. They say that they can hear you really, really low. Hold on. Let's see. Does that work? Hold on. I think I might be able to get this. Hold on. It says, but I don't know what they're saying with my desktop audio being muted. I, oh, let me see. That's not even an option in my. That's maybe I need to. Huh? Yeah. No, I mean that's not even an option. Let me see. Does this work? Does this work? Can you hear me now? Oh no, now I can't hear anything. Hello? Now I can't hear anything. All right, guys, sorry, we're gonna have to pause this real quick. I'm gonna restart in a minute. Sorry about this, everybody.
All right, so she's offline again. So, as I was saying, while AOC is doing AOC things, I'm going to show you one of the things I use to figure out what I'm going to basically be investing in. All right, it's going to be another fund, a more reputable fund in Melbourne. It's called ARK Invest. And one of the big things I love about Kathy Woods and ARK Invest, they are 100% transparent with everything they do. ARK Invest will tell you the stocks they're buying, what they're doing, everything. So if you want to know what's going on, it's there in black and white, and they publish. Let me slide over to that part. All right. So this is ARK Invest, and they tell you exactly what they're thinking. Right now, they're getting really, really big into the genomic sector, which is basically how the COVID-19 vaccine was made, and a lot of other things are made. Instead of going through the long, drawn-out process of trial and error breeding different variations and strains of viruses to do things, they're actually using something called CRISPR. CRISPR, without going into a bunch of mumbo jumbo, is basically a gene editing software. But it's a gene editing software, quote unquote, but it's biological. So they're basically taking small sections of RNA, the thing that makes DNA do everything it does, and injecting it into cells to basically change the blueprint of what the cell does. That's what CRISPR is. And right now, CRISPR is on fire. All right, so and they're doing everything from maybe being able to cure childhood blindness to potentially curing HIV/AIDS. All right, somebody just said that Dogecoin is going through the roof again. Let's see. All right, refresh. All right, so it's stabilizing at about 40, well, 4 cents. For anybody who's in it, that's really good. Like, even with Robinhood having a bunch of my stuff messed up and me only having $52 in it instead of like the 400 I should, I'm still up 50%. I paid $27 since they messed up. Just so you know, I'm not lying. I'm actually in the stock or in the cryptocurrency. Market sale, market sale. It's just Robinhood has been messing up on cryptocurrency all day. So, but yeah, Dogecoin is holding at about 40, well, 4 cents. And that is, again, times 4 for anybody who got in at midnight last night and a good ×2 for anybody who got in at 10:20 a.m. All right, let's see if Miss AOC is. Nope, she's offline still. All right, let's refresh and see what happens. Because the chat is still popping. All right, AOC is still doing AOC things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, she's still down. She must be redoing her entire system. All right, so give me a minute so I can figure out what the hell she's doing. All right, so again, while she's doing that, let's get back into this genomic stuff. All right, so, but yeah, ARK Invest, they will tell you exactly what they're doing. ARK Invest is also one of the biggest investment firms that really bet a lot of money on Tesla. Because back when Tesla last year, when Tesla was only $200-300 a share, she spent like 25 mil on Tesla, and she has made out like a bandit. Mm-hmm. But this is an amazing resource. And like if you have time, like they have podcasts, they have anything you might want to learn about when it comes to what they're doing. Let's check out their cryptocurrency. All right. So they're also a really, really big investment and player in cryptocurrency. From everything from the thing behind cryptocurrency, which is blockchain, to actual cryptocurrencies itself. Like they have a fair amount of positions in Bitcoin. They have positions in a lot of things. This is Kathy Woods. This is my investment baby mama. She is a very smart and intelligent woman, and I respect her a lot. These are basically links. But since Dogecoin is basically a shoot off of Bitcoin, let's see what some people really think about Bitcoin. Well, some myths around Bitcoin. Let me try. All right. More than 11 years after its creation, Bitcoin is struggling to gain worldwide acceptance from institutional acceptance. While constructive criticism is healthy, ARK believes that some influential financial research institutions are the missing Bitcoin based on the stale information, incoherent arguments, and flawed analysis. Given Goldman Sachs' recent stance on Bitcoin, ARK is revisiting the most common misconceptions weighing on its acceptance. We look forward to participating in a healthy and educational debate about Bitcoin and the important role we believe it deserves in a well-diversified portfolios. All right. Critics often point to Bitcoin's volatility as a store of value deal breaker. Why would anyone want to store value in an asset with such dramatic swings in day-to-day prices? In our view, these critics do not understand why Bitcoin is volatile and why volatility is likely to diminish. While detracting naysayers are assessing its role as a store of value, Bitcoin's volatility actually highlights the credibility of its monetary policy. The impossible trinity, a macroeconomics trilemma, explains why. All right. Policymakers can satisfy 2 out of 3 objectives, not all 3, as the third will contradict the first 2. All right. We have a fixed exchange rate, independent monetary policy, and free capital movement. Each side of the trilemma triangle is mutually exclusive to the others. A monetary authority chooses fixed exchange rates and allow free flow capital, for example, cannot control growth of the supply of money. Likewise, a monetary authority choosing not to fix economic rates and control money cannot accommodate the free flow of capital. And one choosing to accommodate the free flow of capital and control the supply of money cannot fix exchange rates. All right. As we get back to this, I think Miss AOC might have fixed whatever the hell was going on with her. Give me 1 second to check, y'all. Do. But again, I can't not sing the praises of Ark Invest. I love it. Mm-hmm. 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 All right. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hop into Kevin's stream and see what's going on with that until AOC pops through. All right.
Oh, hold on. I just got an update. Not from Chamath here. This is a Fox News update. Breaking: Robinhood app expecting SEC enforcement to ask for blue sheet customer trading data as it delves into the Robinhood app Reddit GME drama. More on Fox Biz. Hold on 1 second.
All right. So apparently, all of our yelling and bitching and moaning.
Hold on. Yeah.
Seems to have worked.
Let's see if it's a commercial right now on Fox Biz. But okay, we'll keep listening to this. But if this could be SEC enforcement right here, that'll be really interesting. Let's finish listening to this guy, and then we'll see if Chamath replies.
Some would say, if you're about democratizing markets, why restrict trading at all? You look a lot more like perhaps the sheriff of Nottingham playing dress up than Robin Hood himself.
Oh, that slam was so good. You're looking more like the sheriff than playing dress up than Robin Hood. Oh, we gotta replay that. But hold on. Oh my God, that was so good. Hold on.
Pounding to the big guns on Wall Street, taking out their bearish bets.
My best advice is just understand when everything is all said and done and everybody's yelling and screaming at each other and people are suing each other, eventually all these stocks will go back to where they came from and do not be the last one in. The swings have been wild. GameStop was $500 in the pre-market this morning and hit a low of $110 today.
Well, it hit a low because you all screwed us.
Yep.
A lot of people were on margin and losing every dime they had. I think they made a big mistake
because of you.
Taking away the margin, and that's what got everybody angry. But just realize a GameStop that came from 20 and went to 500, it'll be back to 20. And some of these other names that don't even have any sales, it's going to be a death drop when the music stops. So be very, very careful.
Yeah, Michael, your reaction to what Gary just said, what's your take on what's going on? And this is pure mania. It's one of the biggest financial manias in recent history. We're talking GameStop, AMC, Tootsie Roll, headphone manufacturer Cost, Nokia, BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond, National Beverage, American Airlines. Who's next? What's your take on this increasingly bizarre episode?
Well, Liz, it's not that bizarre. It's been going on in Tesla for a few years. It happens all the time on much smaller scales on a daily basis. What you had is some guys sitting at home in Reddit chat boards figuring out how to gamma squeeze one of the largest hedge funds in the world. And the reason the stock went
from the SEC talk? I want to hear more about the SEC talk.
Way too over-levered and way too speculative to try to run GameStop out of business. Some at-home day traders, some common man, some plebes, some unwashed masses figured out how to gamma squeeze these guys to the tune of $23 billion out of the.
Did he just call us plebes?
And now, as a result, the big guys aren't allowed to lose money. So that's why Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, and everyone else shut down trading in these stocks, was so the pros could settle the score. You had Janet Yellen calling all over the street yesterday, trying to calm it down. And let's just take a step back. Who backstopped Melvin Capital? Well, that was Citadel Securities. Who runs Citadel Securities? Ken Griffin. Very wealthy man. Citadel Securities, the same company that paid Janet Yellen $810,000 in speaking fees before she became Treasury Secretary. So what you have is people who are not allowed to win are winning. Historically, the business model for hedge funds has been to take money from retail investors, not the other way around. So now, as a result, these stocks floundered a little bit today because investors couldn't go in and put more cash on it. But this is nothing new. It's happened in the commodity market. It usually happens to the downside. But I will touch on some of the things that Gary said. This is not investing. This is trading. This is trading hard. And this is speculating. It is not for the faint of heart, but it has gone the way of the Reddit users. So
we hear what you're saying. You know, Gary, you know, Nancy Pelosi, Sherrod Brown, Senate, he's talking Senate banking hearing. Elizabeth Warren, Washington is now saying we're going to step in and review what's going on. What is Washington going to do with this? Can they do anything?
Yeah, the people that have taken us to 27 trillion of debt all of a sudden want to get involved in what the market's doing.
We should have T-shirts, plebes.
We need a wealth tax. So look, they're going to get their hands into this. In what way, shape, or form, I don't know. Elizabeth Warren hates the Wall Street, hates the banking sector, and she's just looking for an enemy right now. And I suspect there's going to be some people on Capitol Hill under oath answering some questions about this, when all it is a gigantic short squeeze that
somebody said
happens on federal lands.
Hold on. Somebody.
Advanced grip technology tape
that
instantly locks anything into place without
Mother.
screws or anchors. There's more alien tape.
Sorry.
We're upset that they couldn't buy today at $480 when it finished at $110.
It didn't finish at
Yeah.
$110.
I mean, you know, it is like a financial game of uncle, Mike, right? You know, it's not a new Occupy Wall Street push. It's about, you know, the little guys battling the big guys who have been profiting off of them, who are crushing companies and were going bearish. I mean, some of these companies had more than 100% of their shares going short. I don't want to get wonky here, but I want to explain to the viewer that you're seeing a mania in a part of the market right now. What's your final word on this, Mike?
that look, you know, people are blaming the retail investors for getting involved. A sophisticated hedge fund like this should never, ever have something like this happen to it. They supposedly have the smartest minds in the world in their risk management departments so that they can operate with risk in the overall market. What you're seeing in long short equity hedge funds is a bunch of groupthink guys that have the same trades on, and when they unwind, it gets really, really ugly. And to try to make this go away, they shut down trading for individual investors today. It's crazy.
You know what? I shouldn't have said it's bizarre. It's kind of interesting, actually, what's going on. And I talked to people.
Okay, so somebody's saying that quite possibly CNN is going to have the Wall Street Bets founder and Robinhood CEO on to debate.
Oh.
Now, we know that the Wall Street Bets founder is kind of like the disgraced Wall Street Bets founder. At least that's what Wall Street Bets says. Let's just jump over really quick and see. Oh, I keep going to Hannity.
We do not need to go to
Here we
Hannity.
go.
Once they open this Pandora's box of allowing hateful people to start recruiting within the traditional political ranks of unrest, we were going to have problems for a long time to come. New arrests more than 3.
Okay, they're still talking about that.
Change, while his family flies around on a polluted.
All right, while we wait, let's quickly finish listening to the CEO of Robinhood in his previous interview here, while we wait to see what happens either with CNN or Fox Business tonight or the AOC thing. Let's just finish this up. I've rewound here to a big slam from Bloomberg saying basically that the Robinhood guy is dressed up as a Robinhood, but he's really
AOC is back.
Why restrict trading at all? You look a lot more like perhaps the share.
So now we're having audio issues.
A lot of people, again, and I want to say this isn't everybody. I know a lot of people don't have disposable income to trade stocks and to trade options. But some people got really interested in this forum. It grew. And one technique that I would say Wall Street certainly has used against each other historically is trying to squeeze what are called shorts. So a short, so you can buy stocks, right? That lets you own a tiny piece of a company. You can also bet against a stock, and that's called shorting a stock. And the way that that works operationally is you borrow that stock from somebody else, you immediately sell it, and then you hope that it goes down. And if it goes down a lot, you can buy it for really cheap. You return it back to the person you borrowed it from, and you get to keep the profit. So that works fine and good if the stock goes down. But if the stock got to go up and up and up, now you're losing a lot of money. Now you're starting to sweat. Now you're starting to get nervous. And you either have to hold it out and hope that it turns around, or you have to buy it back for much more money. And so the sort of scheme, I guess, or the idea on Wall Street bets was to find stocks that they liked and thought were good, that were very heavily shorted, buy them, tell everybody and all their friends to buy them, and that would force the shorts to eventually give up and have to buy the stock back themselves, which would only then raise the price even more. I will say that the other thing that made GameStop and all these other stocks go up even higher than that is people were also buying what are called options. And options are a derivative. This starts to get into an alphabet soup, so feel free to break in at any time.
Of course.
An option gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy a stock in the future for a set price. So an option on GameStop that expires in a week might have what's called a strike price, and the strike price is the price you get to buy it at in the future. And why am I saying all of this? When you buy an option, you buy it from somebody on Wall Street, typically a market maker, who usually owns that stock. And they are saying, I have 100 shares of stock and I am agreeing to sell it to you in the future at a set price. But if they don't own the stock, they have to buy the stock to hedge the position. So you had short sellers who were potentially going to have to buy GameStop. You had people on Wall Street bets buying a lot of GameStop. You had people on Wall Street bets buying options on GameStop. And then you had the people selling the Wall Street bettors options also having to buy GameStop stock in order to hedge their option position. So that sort of created this upward momentum in the stock. I do want to say that I don't think it's that simple. I think the important thing to remember about Wall Street is they don't want to know, they don't want other people to know what they're trading. They want to know what their competitors are trading, and their competitors want to hide it from them. They pay a lot of money to try to figure out what their competitors are trading. And all of a sudden, you had a Reddit forum that was telling everyone on Wall Street not only what their position was, what their plans for the position was, and what they were trying to get their friends to do with the position, which, you know, is actually Wall Street's dream, is to know what other people are going to do with a stock in the future. So what I suspect happened is, in addition to all these people on Reddit buying, in addition to the people who were hedging their option sales buying, you had a lot of people on Wall Street saying, oh, this is going to go up and I'm going to get ahead of it. And I'm going to ride it all the way to the top. And when it starts to crash, I'm going to ride it all the way back to the bottom. So that's sort of the shortest possible version I can give about what started this.
So in a way, with all of this potential activity, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but in a way, are you saying that you have all of these Wall Street actors that are seeing what's going on potentially with this online activity and saying, well, we know that there's going to be a high volume of buys ahead of time, so I'm also going to buy under kind of the guise of all of this online activity going on, and then potentially make out on top of it as well.
Yes.
That's what you're saying too? So
yes, that is my suspicion, yes.
So yeah, so you suspect that this is not just Redditors buying this stock, but that it's also potentially larger actors on the market, and that's something to explore, that there's potentially large factors on the market, looking at activity happening ahead of time, and then getting ahead of it getting ahead of that as well, and almost using that as a veneer for riding this stock.
Yeah. And there's one other wrinkle to all of this that I think is important for folks to know, which is a lot of folks have used the app Robinhood, which I like to think of as the Facebook of stock trading. And I say that because Facebook is sort of designed to keep you on Facebook, right? It's designed to grab your attention and keep your attention. And Robinhood is very similar. I would describe it as gamified. I know a lot of Robinhood folks would disagree with that assessment. That's just my personal assessment. But Robinhood is free. It doesn't charge commission. And the way that their business model works is they sell their order flow to market makers, which are these sophisticated Wall Street participants who execute the orders for them. The market maker they sell the most of their flow to is a hedge fund named Citadel. And Citadel is not just a hedge fund. They are also a market maker. They are also a technology company. They are owned by a billionaire named Ken Griffin, who is out of Chicago, who has funded some very questionable things in his political giving. But Citadel pays for Robinhood's order flow. And strangely enough, or maybe not so strangely, one of the hedge funds that Wall Street Bets was very excited about blowing up, Melvin Capital, was rescued by Citadel after it blew up. So Citadel is paying for the order flow on Robinhood, which is driving up the price of the stock, which crashed one hedge fund. And then Citadel sort of bought that hedge fund on the cheap after it crashed.
And so, for folks at home, so that we can put these dots together, because I think this is an important relationship for us to communicate and map out with you. So basically, also what you're saying now is that you've got Melvin Capital, right? Melvin Capital is the hedge fund that was shorting GameStop. They were the folks that were saying, we're going to make a ton of money. We're going to make a ton of money off of GameStop's stock going down. Wall Street Bets comes in, potentially with folks on Wall Street looking at what Wall Street Bets is doing to kind of supercharge this activity and say, you know what, we're going to make the stock go up, which would, of course, put Melvin Capital into an extraordinarily compromised position, which would essentially prompt them to get bailed out by one of the groups known as Citadel. Now, okay, so Citadel then swoops in as one of the actors to bail out Melvin Capital. But Citadel's owner also co-founded a different Citadel. They're both connected, hence the same name by the same owner. They are two technically different entities, though, but they are with the same founder.
Right. So Citadel LLC is the parent company. Citadel Securities is the market maker that buys the Robinhood order flow. But the parent entity, Citadel LLC, is the one that swooped up Melvin Capital. And Congresswoman, I should just add there were actually two Wall Street firms that bought Melvin Capital, or rescued it, I should say. Citadel and another one, now I'm blanking, of course, on the name, but it's the new fund of Steve Cohen, who you may know as the owner of the New York Mets. And Steve Cohen is famous for all the wrong reasons.
Is what the chat says.
Yes, thank you. Steve Cohen is famous, or infamous, I should say, because he used to have a hedge fund called SAC that pled guilty to insider trading in 2013 and had to shut itself down. And so this is the next iteration of Steve Cohen.
So we've got Citadel and then Point72, who bail out Melvin Capital, who are relying on GameStop stock to tank. So Citadel swoops in to bail out Melvin Capital. But then meanwhile, this connected Citadel under the same founder, it also receives the advanced information from Robinhood. That's what you're saying?
Yes, and I should clarify that's not unusual. That is allowed. It is something called payment for order flow. During the Obama administration, they raised the question about whether or not that was a good idea. they asked one of their SEC, which is a market regulator, they asked the SEC's advisory committee if payment for order flow was just kind of disguising how you were really paying for stock trading. So the idea is Robinhood is free, you don't pay commission, but the broker is supposed to make sure that they give you what's called best execution. So they execute your trade and either get you the best price or they execute it really, really fast. Citadel is paying Robinhood for that order flow, and they pay them via these things called rebates. And Citadel might pay, whatever they pay. A different market maker may pay a little bit higher rate. And what is not supposed to happen is the broker is not supposed to give the order flow to the highest bidder, because that would prevent them from giving their customers best execution. People should know that Robinhood was accused by the SEC in December of 2020 of not giving their customers best execution and actually costing them $34 million, even when you accounted for the free commissions, because of their failures to provide them with best execution.
So you're saying just a month ago, Robinhood was in trouble for not optimizing their customers' trades?
Yes, it was covering a period of time farther back in time, right? It was, I think, in the 2018 range, but the action came down. Robinhood did not admit nor deny guilt in the action, but they did have to pay a civil penalty to the SEC to settle the charges.
And they did pay that penalty to the SEC. So these were charges that came up from the SEC just 1 month ago, but these were they were regarding actions that happened in 2018, but that this is documented past behavior from Robinhood.
Correct. And the other thing is Robinhood wasn't disclosing, another part of that action was Robinhood wasn't disclosing that they were paying our market maker for the order flow. So why do I bring all this up? I bring this all up to say, is Robinhood doing the best by their customers? Are these fintech companies that are so easy to use that lots of people are using to trade stocks, are they doing right by their customers? I think that's an important question that regulators should be asking right now.
So let's talk a little bit about what happened today with the freeze that you saw, not just on Robinhood, but on, I believe, E-Trade, Wellbull, etc., where you have a lot of these retail, these retail platforms, all of a sudden putting a halt to some trades on not just GameStop, but there's also some activity, I believe, around AMC and other stocks that have been particularly identified by the subreddit Wall Street Bets. Tell me a little bit about what is going through your head when you see activity like that. And, for folks at home, there are multiple possibilities here. I think a lot of people sometimes want to jump to certain conclusions, but in order for us to really responsibly look at the situation, it does seem like there's more than one potential explanation. But I'm interested in hearing what's going through your head when you see that, and what are some of the possibilities that could arise?
So I just don't know why Robinhood made the decisions they did to stop trading, allowing purchases of certain single name stocks today. Their decision was a little different than some of the other brokerages. So for example, so think of it from the point of view of the brokerage, right? Especially if people are selling stocks short, which has the potential for unlimited losses. If your client goes bust and enough of your clients goes bust, then the brokerage goes bust. So what a different brokerage did, not Robinhood, but one called Interactive Brokers and some other brokers on the that regular people use, is they just changed what's called their margin requirements. So if you wanted to buy a stock in some of these really active, volatile names today, you had to supply 100% cash margin. And what does that mean? You basically just had to front all of the money yourself, which might sound funny to people who don't trade stocks, but believe it or not, you can sometimes trade stocks with borrowed money. So they were basically saying you can't borrow any money. You got to trade cold hard cash if you want to buy these stocks. So that's what I sort of would have expected to see from everybody. Instead, what we saw is Robinhood just straight up saying you can't trade in any of these names. Now, I don't know that we know any more than that. Was there, direction coming in from regulators? Was this just a decision made by Robinhood? I don't think we know, but I was a little surprised at their action as it related to what other brokers did. And I should just say, if we can just rewind very slightly, because I forgot to mention this before, about the whole idea of payment for order flow. the reason that's important is because the firm that you give your order flow to knows what your executions are, and they can run in front of it and front run and trade ahead of it and make profits, which may be fine or may not be fine. But I just thought that that's important to mention.
So you're saying,
Citadel.
Sorry, you're just about to say, and Citadel's the one who receives that advanced
Correct.
information from Robinhood. So
Correct.
all of these folks, but that advanced information only lasts for a few seconds, right?
Correct, but Citadel is known, and other entities that do this market making are known for their high frequency trading algorithms. That's their specialty. They're experts. They hire tons and tons of programmers, and so they're allowed to make profit ahead of that. But I think the question that a lot of people have, and we just don't have enough information to know, is were they doing more with that information than just executing the trades?
And so those are some of the questions that seem to be outstanding, right? Because if Citadel's receiving this advanced trade information from Robinhood, I go on my phone, except not me, because I don't believe members of Congress should own individual stocks, so I don't have any. But hypothetically, if I'm on Robinhood and I hit my order along with thousands of other people at that moment, Citadel is potentially able to get that information milliseconds in advance. And in those milliseconds, their trading algorithms could adjust, knowing that advanced execution information. Is that correct?
Yes. And I'll say that since a lot of the Robinhood trades are very low volumes, what they often do is batch them together. And so Citadel might be trading in much larger volumes and then matching the orders as they batch them together. Again, all in this sort of time of many microseconds. But that's what they specialize in doing, is this very, very high speed, high frequency trading, as it's called.
And so I think here, for folks that are watching at home, this is what raises a bunch of questions, not just from me, but also from, I think, this is why this is starting to attract the attention of regulators, members of Congress, et cetera, because there's a lot of policy questions that come up. Policy questions about shorting stock, policy questions about, as you said, some of this advanced information. You mentioned the Obama administration started to raise some questions about the potential for this. And I think this also is about power, right? Because everyday retail investors don't get that. Even if you were able to, who knows, program something at home, you do not have that millisecond advance information. You just don't have the market power to have that, right?
Right. And I think that's the reason why, yes, lots of people are making money right now. Yes, one or two hedge funds are blowing up, but there's still always going to be a systemic disadvantage that retail has. And that Wall Street is always going to have the advantage. They have more data. As you said, Congresswoman, they're faster. They can execute things faster. And so they're always going to run circles around the little guy, even if it seems like they're losing.
Yeah. And so I think this is something that's important for us to kind of talk about too, because this is ultimately so much of what has made this story, I think, really exciting to people at home, is that at least for this 1 week, at least for these, 3-4 days, it finally felt for so many people at home that are seeing this happen, people were really feeling like everyday people were finally able to collectively organize and get back at the folks who have historically had all the marbles on Wall Street and force one hedge fund into an existential crisis. But that is what has happened in this short window of time, people really feeling this rush of organizing, etc. But it still raises, I think, this overall question of who are all of these rules, and who is the concentration of power and money still benefiting and still advantage towards. And some of those underlying rules haven't changed, right? It's still the wealthy and still the powerful.
Right. And I would say that, I'm always the skunk at the garden party here, but unfortunately, when volumes are high, and they've hit record highs this week, Wall Street prints money. They were incredibly profitable in the pandemic when lots of people were trading. I am sure they were incredibly profitable today. this is what they do every day. They trade in, they trade out. They don't care if the market goes up or down. They make money on volatility, and volatility is churn. And so I think the larger question here is, how do we want to design our economy? Do we want to incentivize people who study science to write trading algorithms instead of working on climate change? Do we want people who are graduating with PhDs to pursue these more lucrative jobs on Wall Street, in order to make more money for the wealthy? I mean, look, I did that when I got my computer science degree. I can't say that I would recommend it, but unfortunately, the way we sort of incentivize and organize our society right now, some of the really wonderful brain power is being spent figuring out how to optimize your options trading algorithm.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do some of these bigger, more structural things, and this is, something, Congresswoman, I think we have in common, like if we can cancel student debt, if we can, have a wealth tax, if we can regulate these big, powerful Wall Street actors, we can hopefully start to rearrange the incentives of our society so some of the brightest people aren't, using their PhDs designing trading algorithms on Wall Street. And that's sort of the bigger picture that I hope people think about.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is so powerful. I remember around the time I was graduating college, it was so similar. The folks that were on campus that are recruiting, it's around the time that I graduated, it was, Silicon Valley, it was big banks, consulting groups, etc., that kind of suck up so much of the most talented people in our society. And yet, what does that talent go towards? And if it's to make, do we really need physicists making trading algorithms certain milliseconds faster, or do we need that brain power in stopping climate change, or actually, some of that, and even if it's not just STEM fields, but even folks that get picked up by consulting organizations that are really profound generalists, strategists, etc. Should that be going there, or should we be creating opportunities? This is one of the big plug alert, but this is one of the tenets of the Green New Deal. We need to create 20 million jobs across skill sets, from basic labor in actually building infrastructure to some of the most, sophisticated scientific skill sets, and investing and expanding those skill sets. We need to create 20 million jobs across the board minimum in order for us to make the infrastructure and policy changes to match the science of the crisis of our time. And one of the challenges towards that is the fact that so much of our social capital and human capital is being concentrated in arguably some of the wrong sectors at this time, or disproportionately being weighed into certain sectors. So I think you're completely right on that.
I think it makes me think back to the priorities in the CARES Act and the priorities we might even have right now, right? We have a real opportunity to provide people with like a way to actually survive the pandemic and get cash in people's pockets, cancel student debt, change our healthcare system. And is that what we're going to do? Or if we have another market crisis, which like we did last spring, is all of the energy of Congress going to pour into saving the bond market, which I would argue is what happened. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog.
No, you're
who is whining. That's the kind of thing that I hope we can sort of reorient ourselves in this new year about what are our priorities and how can we make sure that people can do what they want with their lives and not have to hustle and, pursue the best paying job, but can actually maybe try to contribute to society. But it's going to take policy, right? And so we're counting on you and all of your colleagues, I think, to make that happen.
No, of course. Thank you so much for joining us, Alexis. We really appreciate it and your insight.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. It's great to be here.
Thank you. All right. So that was, so incredible. I hope you guys got some insight from there. We had some lineup switches. So we have an amazing addition for you all today. Y'all, I need some drum rolls. I mentioned earlier, we're going to have the stock guy on. In my whatever technical difficulties during all that time, we also had a lineup switch up. We have one of the founders of Reddit, Alexis Ohanian, coming on too. Let me hop on here on the live. Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can they hear me? Alexis, I think you're muted. I think the stock guy's muted too.
There it is.
All right. Oh my
Hey.
goodness. Amazing. Thank you both so much for hopping on.
Absolutely.
Holy cow.
Fun to be here.
Let me start with some introductions. I'll start off first. Alexis, I mean, you need no introduction, but why don't you reintroduce yourself to everybody, and who you are and what we're talking about today?
Sure. Well, a long time ago, I co-founded a website called Reddit right out of college, and no longer at the company. I'd resigned from the board back in June of last year. But in these days, I'm running a venture firm I started called 776. But I spent a lot of time on the internet, and a lot of folks have been asking for my take on what this is, and I've been learning and watching, really, I think, just as everyone else has, because this has been quite unprecedented. And I'm happy we've got the stock guy here, because I even as a layperson, it seems to me that, you know, a hedge fund shorting like 130% of the float seems mathematically impossible, and seems like quite a problematic place to start. But you know, it was some clever traders that saw an opportunity to take advantage of that and make an investment. And, you know, here we are now, still watching it all unfold.
Awesome. And stock guy, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone watching?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I say I got to do this for legal reasons, I am not a financial advisor. Everything I do is for entertainment and education purposes only. Now that we have that out of the way, no, I'm just a regular guy. I've been trading stocks about a little over a decade. Started during the 2008 crisis. A couple years ago, I started streaming here on Twitch. I was looking for a place to kind of talk stocks and hang out while I was trading. Everything I found on the internet was just kind of not my style, so I started streaming here. It started picking up. I started noticing that people actually wanted to learn about not just stocks, but the economy, finance, personal finance, about interest rates, how to be better off financially. It's something that's not taught, maybe by design, and a lot of people never get ahead in life. And I thought, hey, if I could use some humor, I could use some knowledge, and teach people some life-changing things that they really, really need to know, and they want to watch me. Hey, I'll do it. And I've been blessed to have this is my career now, and I think it's amazing. And this entire debacle has just been a whole nother level.
Yeah, so let's get into that. I'm interested in hearing from both of you. What has it been like to, and I mean, you've been in this, like, in a driver's seat in a way, watching this unfold, having your profession already be breaking these types of developments down to people, and then to see something as unprecedented as what happened this week. Walk me through a little bit about, like, what you're hearing folks ask you and what you make of this entire situation, and kind of what the horizon is from your perspective.
Well, I think the first thing I want to touch on is I thank you for having me. I think the one voice that's been lost in this whole conversation is the retail trader. Everybody having this conversation is a hedge fund manager or a pundit or a billionaire or a news person or a politician talking about the little guy, the retail trader. Well, nobody asked the retail trader. So I do appreciate the opportunity to, not that I speak for all, but I think that it's nice to be able to hear from that. I actually just did a YouTube video explaining how we got here in this situation, about how the entire GameStop situation folded out, right? Or started, came out. A lot of people are putting the blame on Wall Street Bets. And I see this argument on all the newscasts about, well, it's this group of retail investors that got together to conspire to take down the economy and take down the big bad wolf. And I think that's easy. It's so easy to find someone to blame when the blame starts way before Wall Street Bets, way before Reddit, way before any other forum. This is just a group of people who, I mean, Wall Street Bets is not a group. It's an idea, right? Anybody who is a retail trader who trades stocks, who wants to make some money in an economy that they're never going to retire, they're never going to own a home, they're never going to have the way of life that their parents and grandparents had. So they get an opportunity. They get an opportunity, and they see that opportunity to get something, to actually get ahead and to taste what all those people, in their castles have. And the second they do, and that's where we're at right now. And I mean, I'm not going to get into legalities of it because I'm not a lawyer, but this is where we're at with it.
Yeah, Alexis, I'm so interested in hearing your perspective, because in so many ways, you created this platform, but like so many other things, part of it is something that you help build, but then to see the creative ways that people use it, how it's manifested, etc. It's just, a completely different level and iteration. And first of all, I always think it's very humorous when anyone tries to explain what Reddit is on CNBC or anywhere else, much less like Facebook in a congressional hearing. But to hear people kind of talk about this, I'm interested in your take, like the community and almost internet organizing end of this. Like, what is it like watching something like this? And could you ever in your wildest dreams, however many years ago, when you were cooking up Reddit in your dorm room?
No chance. No chance could any of this have been predicted. I think, and I want to stress and just echo, I think Stock Guy's spot on here. There's not a singular monolith community of, Wall Street bets, just like there isn't a singular monolith community of K-pop fans or vegans or right. This is community. This is something that spans platforms and the internet, and especially in the last 10 years in particular, as social media and smartphone ubiquity and all these things have connected us in real-time ways to organize around ideas, around concepts. That energy is something we as humans are really good just biologically at rallying around. And yet, we seek out those communities. We seek out that sense of identity. We seek out that sense of connection, and the internet supercharges it because of scale. And what we're seeing is we've seen echoes of it in so many different arenas in industry, or excuse me, in society across so many different industries. And now I see so many stories from people that remind me of conversations that I had and heard and saw after 2008 and the recession. And right, I think this is.
We're going to pull away from here.
This is
because
something
we have the CEO of Webull coming through. So let's see what we got here. Okay, let's catch up with Kevin and let's see what's going on. All right, so I want to run this back. Let's take it back. Apparently, we've missed some things. Thank you. Okay. Mm.
DTC, the company doing these exchanges, they changed the rules. So it's still Wall Street that ultimately screwed us, right? Wall Street is like, you know what? We don't want to deal with these shares anymore. That's exactly what's happening here. It's the suits up on Wall Street are like, you know what? We don't want 2% collateral on those GameStop shares. We want 100% collateral. And if that means Apex and all you other people have to shut down, that's not our problem because we're the suits and we're shutting you down. So that's what's happening here. It's what we thought. It's the suits. Now, the Webull CEO appears to be properly explaining what the hell is going on, and he's properly pointing the finger at the suits. Robinhood is like, we did this to protect you. This is again where that clarity is missing. Let's keep going. This is interesting. Let's listen.
In order to stop the clearing firm from going out of business, they stopped the settlement of those shares, resulting in firms like Webull not being able to allow customers to trade those stocks, right? It's a market dynamic. And what's going to happen if DTC doesn't move that, right? So we want to blame DTC. We want to say DTC is the bad guy. They're raising requirements to 100%. Well, what happens if they don't do that? Then you have counterparty risk. So if I sold a share of GameStop to someone at $350 and that person was short and covered a short, say that person was Melvin Capital. Melvin Capital is now completely underwater. They don't have enough money to pay for that purchase to cover their short position. So now the clearing firm is going to pay on behalf of Melvin Capital. And then the clearing firm will try to collect that money from Melvin Capital down the line later on. If they don't get it, they mark it as a loss. Now,
that's not our problem.
That's
not our effing problem. You all set up an institution that says when we trade, you deal with all the crap in the background. It's not my problem. Wait, so literally what the Webull CEO just said is, just in case Melvin goes bankrupt, we're going to stop you all from trading.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally reiterating the problem. You're reiterating the fact that Wall Street is screwing Americans. Oh, my God.
By that billions of times. Now, the clearing firm can't pay to settle those trades. So you have billions of people that sell stock that aren't able to get capital back for that sale. You have counterparty risk. That means that you have a complete market breakdown. And it's a bigger story than just GameStop. It's the whole market is not able to function.
And you were saying 2008, something like this happened, and they didn't raise the requirements, or what was that one like back then?
They were too slow to raise requirements, and we saw the trickle down effect when it started with Lehman. And
by the way, this is exactly why cryptocurrency would be freaking amazing. You don't sit around on your butt for 2 days waiting for bull crap to clear. Wow. Go buy crypto. Jeez, man.
And all the hedge funds that Lehman supported became counterparty risks because Lehman was the clearing firm for those funds. And now if the clearing firm can't back the clearance of those trades, then you have a situation where you have people selling stocks that aren't able to get the money for selling those stocks. Complete market breakdown. That's why we had the government intervene and bail out all the big banks.
Okay, how does Citadel, when investors are asking me about Citadel, because in the some of these brokerages use Citadel to clear some of their trades. How does Citadel play a role in the DTC or as part of this?
They do have a play in it. Absolutely, they are one of the biggest market makers on the street, and they facilitate a lot of the liquidity that we see. So we're able to buy a share without driving up the stock price 10% every time. They are what's called the street side of the trade. So there's the customer side of the trade and the street side of the trade. Citadel would be the street side of the trade. They're one half of the equation when it comes to clearing. So they're if it's not Melvin Capital on the other side, maybe it's Citadel on the other side. But if a customer, if say John Doe is going to sell a share, they're selling it. They're not selling it versus Jane Doe. They're selling it versus the street. The street is usually a firm like a Citadel.
Is there an arguable statement to say Melvin Capital caused some of this because of their issue and then Citadel bails them out? Is there an argument of anything like that? Is that part of how this comes about, or would that be something that you wouldn't know?
Good question.
I mean, it's kind of speculation where it really started, but certainly Melvin Capital's collapse had a big play in this. The ability for a big firm to not be able to clear or match the other side of a trade has a trickle down effect. It then goes to the clearing firm, and then you have fears about the clearing firm not being able to settle that trade. So I think that's where it started. Yeah.
Okay. And if you wanted to right now to take shares of GME, like if you wanted to, could you? Like if you wanted to, could Webull take shares of GME?
I'm not following that. When you say take.
Sorry, not take, wrong word. If Joe Blow, investor in Webull, wanted to buy shares of GME, could you sell them to him right now?
Oh, hold on a sec.
But we know for too long, the hedge funds are the ones that get the big bailouts, right? The big banks get the big help. The little guy doesn't. And that's what this story feels like. So if you want to understand the power of the moment, you have to look at the political forces aligned on this one. AOC, Ted Cruz, Elizabeth Warren, and Donald Trump Jr. I don't even know why we include him, but they're all on the same side. Honestly, I don't know why I included him. The guy's not.
I hear there's the debate is starting here momentarily, so I'll switch back when I see that happen.
No, we cannot, because we do not have the ability to sell proprietarily. We are simply a platform for a venue for, in your case, Joe Blow, to get access to the exchange. That's all we are. We never take the other side of the trade. We don't have the ability to take the other side of the trade.
So if I'm an investment bank, then, and I'm like and they take proprietary risk, they could take on those long trades potentially.
Yeah, potentially that would be a special trade situation where it would happen off exchange. That does happen every once in a while. If you've ever looked at a chart, you've seen like a crazy print that's completely out of whack with how the stock's trading. That's sometimes called like an off exchange, transaction. And usually that happens where it's like, T. Rowe Price wanted to, move stocks from their flagship fund to their small cap fund, and they would have an internal trade at a specific set price that would be off where the current price is. That's usually how that happens. So it's very irregular for a retail investor to ever be involved in something like that.
Okay, Luke, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Well, just a couple of things, right? There's some questions in the chat that keep asking the same thing, right? Which is why can't you buy some of these stocks? We both scroll back, guys. Anthony didn't. Hold on.
Did they stop the trading? Let's dig into the decision with Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev. Vlad, thank you.
Live again. I hope it's not the same stuff we just heard.
For having me. This is surreal for me. I've been watching your show a lot, especially through this past year.
Well, wow, he didn't say that about CNBC or Bloomberg. I guess he's left.
Care about your capital commitments, your liquidity, and what was going on the regulatory side. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But I want you to address the obvious. This looks like a move by an outfit called Robinhood, which is supposed to be taken from the rich and given to the poor, and doing exactly the opposite. That when the big guys, including one of your main investors in your company, started to lose, you shut down the game to starve the little guy. Fair criticism.
That's not what it is at all. And I know you started this segment. It really resonated with me because you described the story of Robinhood. Robinhood started 5 years ago by pioneering commission-free, no-account minimum mobile investing. And we've been the spokesperson of the individual investor. And our whole goal as an institution is to enable those customers, empower them, and give them access to the markets. Because for the longest time, markets have been only accessible to the wealthy. And so the entire industry adopted our business model in 2019. And in 2020, we added millions of new customers. The entire industry added millions of new customers who took advantage of the market rally and became investors for the very first time. So, we had to make a very difficult decision to protect our customers and our firm.
Why?
But we in no way.
Why? Explain why you had to do it if it wasn't to protect the guys who had shorted the stocks, which are the big hedge funds. How are you helping the little guy investors?
Right.
Well, I know that there's rumors around that, we were directed by market makers or other market participants to do this. And I want to be 100% clear. This decision was not made on the direction of any market maker or other market participants.
So why'd you do it?
Decision. Robinhood, as a brokerage, has lots of financial requirements, SEC requirements. We have to put up money at clearinghouses. The amount of money that we have to put up depends on market volatility, and we're in a historic situation where there's a lot of activity and a lot of buying concentrated in a relatively small number of symbols. That
he's saying the same thing we've heard. He didn't answer that question. Let's quickly. Is the founder of Reddit on here? Hold on.
And a lot of folks have been asking for my take on what this is, and I've been learning and watching, really, I think, just as everyone else has, because this has been quite unprecedented. And I'm happy we've got the stock guy here, because I even as a layperson, it seems to me that, you know, a hedge fund shorting like 130% of the float seems mathematically impossible, and seems like quite a problematic place to start. But you know, it was some clever traders that saw an opportunity to take advantage of that and make an investment. And, you know, here we are now, still watching it all unfold.
Awesome. And Stock Guy, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone watching?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I say I got to do this for legal reasons.
This was the guy we were listening to earlier. Let me quickly just go back to here.
The audience doesn't need to. The New York Stock Exchange does. So if anybody was going to control the listing and shut it down, it should have been them, but it wasn't. It was you. And the reason that they do it is very limited. They do it because they think there's evidence of fraud, or they think that there needs to be a material disclosure by the company that hasn't been made. And that's done to protect the investor. You check none of those boxes here because you don't control the venue. You didn't know about any information that GameStop or any of these other stocks needed to put out. You don't have any reason to believe there's fraud that you've articulated. And you're certainly not protecting these people who've been living the dream of making money, especially at the expense of the big guys. So why should people believe you did this for the right reasons?
Well, we have no choice. We have to comply with all financial requirements. And
the SEC hasn't said you had to do this.
Ooh.
Well, lots of brokers have to comply with these financial requirements and have issued restrictions on some of these names. And this is a industry-wide thing. You yourself mentioned that other brokers this week have imposed restrictions. And not speaking for other firms, but for Robinhood in particular, this isn't because there's deals happening with market makers we route to or market participants.
But then why did you allow people to keep selling but not buying? The reason that is so troubling to people is that they were making money buying the stock because they were against the short side. And so by enabling them to sell but not buy, it sounds like you were allowing the hedge funds, and again, one of them owns a piece of you, and they had a big short position, and that looks like a stinky conflict that you didn't come out straight on from the start. Address that.
Yep.
Well, none of that had anything to do with our decision to do this. Again, this was just looking at regulatory requirements, financial requirements, and we 100% will always protect our customers. Where the entire business is operating to empower individual investors and has been since its founding. And that's what Robinhood is committed to continue to do. So we don't want to restrict buying in these 13 stocks. We're doing the best we can to re-enable it as long as it's operationally and prudent from a deposit standpoint.
So for you, it's about how much money is in the mix and what you can cover yourself?
Well, it's about us complying with the financial and clearinghouse deposits and regulations.
Then you know what you need? I'll give you some free advice. You need somebody who sets those requirements to come out and say that this is why this happened, because otherwise it smells bad, especially for a place called Robinhood, to have Citadel Securities, your largest customer, investing $2.75 billion to bail out one of the biggest losers in the GameStop short. You know, they both deny, you and Citadel say this wasn't concerted action or anything, but it looks terrible. So you need somebody to justify your decision. Do you think you can do that?
There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm not going to speak for what regulators or industry professionals will say, but you can talk to any of the brokers that have made similar restrictions, and I think they'll all tell you the same thing. And this is a highly regulated industry. It's non-negotiable for us to cooperate with the regulators, follow their guidance, and we're in constant communication with them. So we have to be extremely buttoned up here.
I heard you. Now I saw you on another channel. They were saying, so is it a liquidity issue? So Robinhood didn't have the money to control the flow. And you said, no, it's not the issue. We don't have a liquidity issue.
Right.
Well, if you don't have a liquidity issue, but you say you're stopping the trading because you couldn't.
That's what we said.
How does that reconcile with itself?
Yeah.
Well, we feel pretty good about the situation, and we did this preemptively, right? We had to we were looking at the deposit requirements. We were looking at the operational requirements. So we did this proactively, and we feel good about being able to re-enable these things. And we definitely want to make sure customers understand when we impose restrictions, when we lift them. Ultimately, brokers have to impose these types of restrictions because the capital requirements can change, and we're in unprecedented times, and the financial system operates in very technical ways with regard to settlement and money movement, and there's no way around that. It's just the reality of our business.
I hear what your rationale is, but again, now we're going to be watching this story because you have political forces I've never seen aligned before who want to make sure that the big guy is not finding a way to get over on the little guy because the country, I think, has just about had it with that. So you're caught in the middle, and we'll be watching, and I hope you're acting in good faith and that the trading resumes and the market can settle itself. But Vlad Tenev, thank you for coming in and making the case for Robinhood.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I mean, look, Cuomo here did a good job. He did a good job. He called him out. The problem is Vlad is not explaining this like the guy on Wall Street or the Weeble guy was explaining this. Hold on, he's still here.
That remind me of.
Oh, sorry.
They should be able to play fairly and see that happen. I'll stay on it, and you have this as a venue to discuss it as we move along. Good luck. The other side of the story is the individual investors who came together in places like Reddit, which is an amazing story in itself. The man who founded Wall Street Bets is here. His name is Jamie.
Okay. We saw this guy earlier, and this guy is making the rounds. But apparently he is the disgraced founder of Wall Street Bets and has nothing to do with Wall Street Bets anymore and is getting an endless amount of airtime. And folks, we would rather listen to AOC.
The act of shorting a company like this.
Oh God, they're just talking about, okay, we heard all this stuff. This is literally like they're just trying to explain to AOC what the heck shorting is. And she's like, thanks for explaining this to my audience, but I don't get it. Okay, let's listen to a few more minutes of this. Although I think we kind of got, because this was good quality right here. This was good. Shout out to Benzinga here. There's an N, right? Anyway.
Sort of what the market dynamics here.
The banks, not finance, not Wall Street.
You know, the
other question. You know, wait, oh gosh, I still have her audio on. Hold on. My bad. My bad. We can't do that.
Anthony, and again, I know that it's not your decision to make, but do you have any idea as to when you know some of these stocks that are unavailable right now may become available again?
Holy crap! Look at my Robinhood. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. This is insane. We bought the Doge coin as a meme. I put $25,000 to buy 1 million Dogecoins as a meme. Folks, you have made my birthday. Look at that. What the hell? Okay, sorry. Let's go back. Oh wait, sorry. Hold on. Wrong buttons. Wrong buttons. There we go.
There's two discussions going on. One is a discussion directly with DTC to lower their collateral rates. And then the second is funding. So right now, there's a lot of high-level phone calls happening at clearing firms around the country to banks, namely the JP Morgans of the world, the Bank of Americas of the world, the Pershings of the world, and they're looking for small, short-term bridge loans, right, where they can basically help out their balance sheet. They can lift up their balance sheet so they have the ability to send that collateral to DTC for the short term.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense to you or no?
Yep, that does make sense.
And by the way, guys, this is the CEO of Weeble that we have with us right now. I know there's some new people that have come in, and he's talking about the situation of why.
All right.
There's a lot of pressure going on right now. There's a lot of emotion that's going into this, and I totally get it. I mean, I'm on board. The reason why we started Weeble was to lower barriers, right? To give everyone access to not only, awesome tools, but the market in and of itself, whether you have a $5 account or a $5 million account, right? You should have the same access, same tools, right? We've lived by that since day one. And you know, when I got the call today, right before 11 a.m., that we had to shut it down, I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. And you know, it's one thing to get in front of it and people know this, and this is not a political thing. This has nothing to do with manipulation. This is simply the inability for us to honor a trade. So if we opened up GameStop right now against the wishes of our clearing firm, we said, you know what? Our clearing firm has no idea. They don't understand the zeitgeist, what's going on in the market. We're opening up GameStop whether our clearing firm likes it or not. Someone's going to sell a share of GameStop at where it's trading now, 220 something. Someone's going to sell a share of GameStop at 220, and you know it's
3 something.
Not going to get that money. That's a bigger deal. That's a lot worse because now they're out. Right now the retail investor is the one that's really getting screwed. So, listen, every 10 minutes I have a call with our clearing firm. When are you guys ready? When are you guys ready? When are you guys ready? We need to turn it on. Want to turn it on. Want to turn it on. We're trying, guys. We're trying to get these stocks open.
This is like, folks, this Weeble guy, he gets it. He gets it. Like, it's not that hard. He's like, hey, we're trying for you. It's the suits screwing you all. Oops.
Firm is talking to DTC and trying to say, open these things, move the requirements lower. We're going to try to bring on someone from DTC. I believe Brent is working on that right now. We're trying to bring the chief risk officer on from DTC because they're the ones who ultimately
That would be sick if they could get him on. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's see if we can go to that part because right now we kind of got it. We got it so far. Let me try to see if I mentally got it myself really quick. Okay, this is we're gonna do this on the fly here really quick, and then we're gonna see if we can get that. So let's understand this and tell me if I got this right. So I sell GME. Okay, I'm gonna sell this, and that means somebody else is going to buy it. So I deserve $300. I deserve my tendies, right? This $300, I am owed that $300. But I can't get that $300 yet because we've got to go to a clearinghouse. We'll put CH. And there are two sides of the clearinghouse. There's somebody like Apex. And then over here, there's, let's say, DTC. DTC. Okay, two sides of this. And this whole process basically takes like 2 days. And over here is the other dude. Maybe like Melvin over here. Melvin Capital. And if Melvin Capital buys my $300 stock because they're covering their short, so they've got their, let's do this. There, they've got their GME over here, and this is the buy. There we go. This is the buy. I got to get that money somehow. But if Melvin goes BK, then DTC is like, oh, hell no. We don't want to be stuck with the bag. Apex is like, oh, hell no. We don't want to be stuck with the bag. And we're like, yo, what the F? Right? So that's where they're saying maybe the market could collapse because of that. Okay, brief explanation there. Let's see if we can listen to the DTC guy. Hold on. All right.
Is that correct?
They're the ones that ultimately control the risk, yeah, and they're doing so to maintain the stability of the overall market, not of.
Got it. Okay, we're gonna go forward. Let's just see if we can jump in and figure out where this is.
They're saying if I sell stock, who's going to fund it? How am I going to get the money? I would actually go ahead. What are you going to say?
Yeah, no, the market still exists. This is
same guy. Do we get him?
Yeah, no, but hopefully blockchain is the answer to that.
Oh, see, they said it. Hopefully blockchain is the answer to that. That's what we said. We just said that in this live stream too. Blockchain would solve all of this bull crap. That makes me very bullish, by the way, on Bitcoin. Today explained why Bitcoin, money.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right, paper certificate, obviously now a short Kodak, right? If you remember that trade, you for it, and then the clearing directed by the brokerage firm.
Okay, I don't think they got him on unless it was later because this was like a 10-hour live stream.
And the relationship.
Jeff, are you there?
All right, I'm gonna shut it down, Kevin. This is more or less what we got going on with this on QB. I'm Peace Tiaro.
Mr. Wonderful. They got Mr. Wonderful on. This is cool. You guys can go check this out if you want. I'll have